Well, we're going to bring in now sports director Mike Jock, who joins us live from the newsroom with more on a baseball legend who left his mark on his hometown of Milwaukee. This after Bob Uecker died today.
Well, every movie has a great soundtrack to it. You could say for the last 5 decades, that sweet music was the sound of Bob Uecker's voice on radios around the state. That voice was lost today when Brewers play-by-play broadcaster Bob Uecker passed away at the age of 90. Get this, Ueck, as he was affectionately called, started his broadcasting career as the play-by-play voice of the Brewers in 1971. He held that role until his death. He played a broadcaster in the movie Major League in the 80s and 90s. He was known as Mr. Baseball and was beloved by not only Brewers fans, but baseball fans all over the world. Uecker was a former player, albeit not a very good one, which was part of his sense of humor. He loved to make people laugh. He loved to make fun of himself. Caught up with former WMTV sports director Craig Kishon, now part of the Brewers TV broadcasting team, who said Uecker loved to make people laugh and he loved Wisconsin.
Well, honestly, I don't think it's any different than the rest of us who were born in this state. He was born in Milwaukee. He just had ties. His roots were here. He knew it. And then, you know, once the broadcasting career started in Milwaukee back in the early 70s with the Brewers coming to town, it was just, he saw the rest of his life, I think, in front of him, to be honest with you. And when you're a ball player or you're a coach, you don't spend the rest of your life doing those things, but you can spend the rest of your life, you know, having a job in broadcasting the way he did. And it was the perfect marriage for him.
Well, as a kid who grew up listening to Bob Uecker my whole life, this one hits pretty hard. He was my idol growing up. He's the reason I wanted to get into sportscasting, to make people laugh and to talk about sports. Thank you, Bob Uecker, for the inspiration, for all the memories. For now, live in the newsroom, Mike Jock, WMTV 15 Sports.
Thanks, Chaco. And Bob Uecker was also known by many names, including Mr. Baseball. In fact, it was a name he got right here on NBC. Uecker was a frequent guest on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. During his first appearance on the show, Carson called Uecker Mr. Baseball, and it stuck with him for the rest of his life. People loved his humor and performance, leading him to be invited back on The Tonight Show more than 100 times. And people throughout Wisconsin are taking to social media to share memories of Ueck. The Brewers called him the light of the Brewers, the soundtrack of our summers, the laughter in our hearts. The Madison Mallards saying, quote, a legend, an icon, and truly the greatest to ever do it. Former Brewers catcher Jonathan Lucroy says he was one of the funniest people he's ever met. And Governor Tony Evers also posted a statement in which he called Uecker, quote, a man of character and integrity.